Good morning, everybody. You know, when I walked in here today, the last time I was on this platform, this stage, this man in the back, those of you who probably are not from the school here should take a look. His name is John Clifford, Dean John Clifford. He was head of the Troopers, which is the theatrical group of St. Francis College. And I had the honor of being cast in a lead role of a play called, an Agatha Christie play called Witness for the Prosecution. I was Sir Wilfrid Robarts. And back then they used to have to powder my hair to make me gray, and now I've kind of grown into that part. But Dean Clifford cast me in that lead, and then tragically, before I had the opportunity to be directed by him in that play, he passed away. One of the great guiding spirits of St. Francis College, a man that truly was a great mentor in my life, actually plucked me out of a speech class that I took as an elective and said, "Have you ever done any acting?" I went, "No, I can't. I barely can speak to people." He said, "No, you need to come down and you need to be part of the Troopers." And the rest of it is history. But I want to, because it is St. Francis and because I take both business and building businesses and helping people very, very near and dear to my heart, part of the DNA that I am as a person, I can't come into St. Francis College without a prayer. And I'm going to read the prayer, and you should know the prayer. It is the prayer of St. Francis. And I've tried in my life and all the things that I have done to live this prayer. And I think that's kind of the important thing. We can talk a lot about it. We're going to talk a lot about things, and you're going to talk, and you're going to engage in a discussion. But it's incredibly important that we all live by what we believe. And this is what I believe. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is error, truth. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. The prayer of St. Francis College. I am 57 years old. Ouch, I hate when I say that. I graduated in 1978, and those of you who want to know, trust me, I have my yearbook to prove it. And I look through here and I go, wow, that was a long time ago. But this whole story and this whole discussion really starts from the fact that I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn. I live today in Westport, Connecticut, which is as far away you can get from Brooklyn as anyone possibly can. I'm one of 7 kids. My dad was a New York City police officer. My mom was a housewife, and she had enough work every day putting meals on the table for 9 people every night. I went to Holy Innocents Grammar School. I went to Nazareth High School. Nazareth had a couple of distinctions. Mike Dunleavy. Anybody hear of Mike Dunleavy? Okay, Mike Dunleavy was our superstar basketball player. Dennis McDermott was a superstar back in the days when I was here in St. Francis College. And then I wanted to go to St. John's University in the worst way. And my dad said, we have 7 kids in the family. I'm a New York City police officer. If you want to build a life, and you want to go to college, because nobody in our family had ever gone to college, you have to work to pay your way through school. He said, if you go to St. John's University, it's all the way over there in Queens. There's no possible way you're going to get back in time to have a part-time job and pay for your college education. So I found this small college of big dreams called St. Francis College. I said, you know what? I'm a couple of subway stops away. Let me give it a shot. And it was the best decision that I ever made in my entire life. I'm incredibly blessed to have been around and to be educated by the unbelievable staff, faculty, the brothers here at St. Francis College, set the foundation for who I am and how I live in this world, both on the business side and what I do when I'm not kind of in a jacket and tie, which I usually am. But it all really starts, and I'm going to take the jacket off here. It really starts back in Brooklyn, all of this. When I was 13 years old, how many of you can remember where you were on your 13th birthday? Exactly, that day. Anybody? Where you were that exact day. Yeah, where were you? Your house, okay. I'll tell you where I was. On Fulton Street is the Labor Department. And in my neighborhood on East 16th Street and Cortelia Road, there was a deli that was the hub of our neighborhood. It was called De Palma Brothers. And from the time I could walk, my mother would take me down to De Palma Brothers and say, this is a really cool place. You go in there and there's all kinds of guys with aprons and they have all kinds of food, and that's where we buy everything. And for as long as I could remember when I was a kid, I always wanted to work at De Palma Brothers. And I used to go to Louis De Palma. Literally, the guy's name was Louis De Palma. And I say, Louis, I really want to work at your store. He said, you're 11 years old. You can't work here. I said, when can I work here? He said, when you're 13. So on my 13th birthday, I convinced my mom to take me down to Fulton Street and go to the Labor Department and get my working papers. Do they still have working papers? So I stood in line, did the physical, which is kind of an experience, and walked out of there with my working papers on June 27th, 1969. Came back on the subway, walked up to Louis De Palma and said, I got my working papers. I'm here to work. My birthday. He said, what are you kidding? I said, no, you told me to come back when I was 13. Today, I'm 13. For some wild reason, he used to call me Skippy. My name is Al. He said, Skippy, go back there and you get a apron on. He said, and you're going to be a stock clerk. You're going to stock the shelves with all kinds of products and everything else. You're not ever going to come close to a customer. You're 13 years old. We have adult guys standing behind the counter. They know better. You're going to stock shelves for the first year. So that's what I did. Started out stocking shelves, and there was stuff all over the place. I got so good at it that I could literally be blindfolded, and you'd say to me, where are the S&W peas? And I'd say, go 10 steps to the left, on the lower shelf to the right. I knew where everything was. One day, Louis called me. He said, hey, listen, I think you're ready now. Go grab a clean apron and come to the front of the store. You're going to wait on customers. Oh, my God. He said, you're good in math, right, Al? I went, yeah, I'm pretty good. Addition. I went, yeah, I'm pretty good. He goes, here's a pencil. And I've been sticking pencils and pens behind my ear ever since. He said, and what's the number one thing do you think when someone walks into a store and you're standing behind a counter, what's the first thing you would say to that customer? What? Okay, hello, and then after hello, what would you say? How can I help you? It's funny, when you ask people how you can help them, what do they tell you? What? They don't laugh at me. No. When you say to somebody, how can I help you? What is their response? They tell you how you can help them. So in the deli, right? In the deli, it was, they walked in, I said, hi, how are you? Great, how can I help you? And they say, I need this, 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 and this. And what did you do? Well, you walked over and you grabbed whatever they asked you for and you brought it back. Back then, there was a huge marble counter, and you brought it there in front of them on their counter. And then when they were finished telling you what they wanted, you would say, is there anything else that I can help you with? No, that's fine. Then Louis said to me, it's a very important thing. You write down all of the prices of all of the products on the paper bags, okay, before calculators. I know it's mind-boggling, 69. You do the addition, you hand it back to the customer, and you have them check your math. And if they find it's wrong, then you have to go back and change it. So great. He said, but a really, really important thing I want you to do is in every bag of groceries, before they leave, I have this bucket. And it has Tootsie Rolls in it. I said, okay. He said, I want you to go into each bag and I want you to hand people Tootsie Rolls. Somebody can help me here. Anybody want to help me distribute Tootsie Rolls? Come on, step up, somebody. A couple of people. I want everybody to have a bunch of Tootsie Rolls. And I said, because I was a 13, 14-year-old kid, I said, so Louie, let me get this straight. You want me to drop a handful of Tootsie Rolls into each bag? Yep. How much do we charge for the Tootsie Rolls? He said, we don't charge anything. I said, what? I just got finished adding this up. Now you want me to drop Tootsie Rolls in people's bags? He said, yeah. I said, we're going to do a little experiment. Louis was about 3 feet tall. He said, I want you to go to Key Food, Med Food, and A&P. I want you to get the following products. I want you to come right back here. Don't waste time. I said, no problem. No problem. So I go back, and I come back to the store with 3 bags. He says, okay, great. Empty those bags onto the counter. I do. He says, where are the Tootsie Rolls? I said, Louis, you did not tell me to get Tootsie Rolls. He said, yeah, but where are they? I said, those stores don't put Tootsie Rolls in their bags. And then he gave me one of the greatest lessons. I've been using this story forever. He said, that's why we do. They don't, we do. You see, what happens is when mom comes back from the grocery store and dumps all the groceries on her kitchen counter and her kids gather around, the kids go, wow, isn't that cool? We got Tootsie Rolls. We like that place, De Palma Brothers. They created something that was unique. What does USP stand for? Anybody? Who's an entrepreneur here? What does USP? Unique selling proposition. Unique selling proposition. Louis never went to St. Francis College. Louis never basically got out of high school. But he understood something. You have to give me some Tootsie Rolls there, my man. Come on down. We can't make this a career. So Louis knew something about unique selling proposition. He was surrounded by 3 supermarkets. He was a corner deli. He knew he was competing with those other establishments for a customer. He said, I've got to use a device to bring people in, to keep them engaged, to have them buy my product, even though it's a little higher priced. He created value. And let me have a couple of those Tootsie Rolls, because I need a prop here. All of the speeches, all of the talks, all of the sessions that I have done in my career, which has been a long career, we are all looking in business for our Tootsie Roll. What is it in your business, in your life? Those of you who are entrepreneurs, or people who want to be entrepreneurs, you are looking for your Tootsie Roll. What is it that makes you, your business, unique, compelling, and engaging? Correct? So when you think about everything we're going to talk about today, think about it. If I were to say to you, you were to walk in, and I've done some sessions here for alumni about selling yourself. Someday you're going to walk into someone and say, if you don't build your own business, or even if you do build your own business, and you stand in front of a venture capitalist or a private equity firm, they're going to go, this is great, Al. You graduated out of a great school, and you've got this really great idea. What makes you unique? What separates you? What is your Tootsie Roll? Louis De Palma knew something about how to create unique selling proposition. We got it? You understand it? It can be something very, very simple. So if I were to say to you, let me pick somebody randomly. Yes, sir, you. What makes you as a unique individual? Go ahead. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? You're Polish. There's a lot of Polish people. Go ahead.
My personality.
Your personality. You're a nice guy?
Yes.
There's a lot of nice guys out there.
It's not the only thing I
Well, go ahead. So tell me, what's unique?
I'm funny.
You're funny. Okay, there's funny people too.
I'm good looking.
You're good looking. Well, let's not go a little crazy here now. There's a bunch of good looking people out there. All kidding aside, your ability to understand what your unique selling proposition is and what separates you and your business from the competitive set is critical to building a business. I want to talk to you about businesses that I've built and things that I have done where this is critical. Anybody watch the Shark Tank? Okay. Those guys are kindergarten in comparison to the real world. You don't even get in the room with somebody who wants to fund a business. They're not even that polite if you don't have your act together, if you don't understand, if you don't, in the first 4 or 5 minutes, explain to them what's unique about what you're doing and why they should care. The average VC gets 4 to 5 proposals a day. You think they have the time to kind of wade through stuff and figure out what your unique selling proposition is? No, not happening. Okay. I need 2 people. 2 people. Step up. Anybody? 1, 2. Come on down. All right, I got you. Come on. 1, 2. This is kind of a basic course and what you need to understand. I want you to write as large as you can here the word need. And you get points for penmanship. That's great. All right, pull that off after you're finished. Okay? Rip that off and tack it up on the wall. What's the opposite of need?
Want.
No. The opposite of need. What's the answer to need? Solution. Write solution. You got to do it. No, you got to do it the other way because it won't stick. Stick that up on the wall over there.
As big as I can?
Just make sure that people can see it. Yep. Okay, stick that on that wall. Okay. You've got a 4-year degree, you're about to go to college, you're going to come out of the entrepreneurial class. This is the cliff notes on the entire entrepreneurial center and everything that we're going to talk about. If you understand these 2 concepts, you can go on to do great things, because I'm not that smart of a guy. Thanks a lot, guys. See, that was quick, right? All you really need to understand to build anything is what? What is the need? What is the market need? What is the consumer need? What is the customer need? How to build a solution. What? What? Unique. Why is it important that you be unique? What? So you can stand out. Why do you want to stand out? Yep. Sorry? So people will notice you. What else? So you have an advantage over your competition. So why is it important to have an advantage over your competition? To make money. Who said that? The head of the class. At the end of the day, and despite everything that you're hearing and have heard, we went through one major catastrophe in the interactive age where there was a lot of people running around going, you know what? We don't need to make money. Venture capitalists gave us money. We're just here to have a good time. We're here to have a party. And if we make money some point, but our venture capitalists don't really want us to make money. You know what happened to those companies? Out of business. The people that were working with them, out of work. It is incredibly important for you to understand what is the market need, what is your solution, and what makes it unique and compelling. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to be a builder of something. I'm going to say something a little out of turn here. You have to have a good BS detector. Do we know what BS detector means? Yeah. Why? Why do you need to do that? Why do you have to have a good detector? Yep, you got to come down further, man, or you got to talk louder.
Life's full of bullshit. So
What?
Life's full of bullshit. So
Life's not full of bullshit. Life's full of a lot of great opportunity. Why do you need, when building a business, why do you need to have a good BS detector? What? Hire better workers? Go ahead. Right. So I'm a good sales guy. I can sell stuff. I've just built my whole life doing that. I can actually sell myself on believing that my idea is the greatest thing since ice cream. Right? I mean, I've sat in rooms where people have presented and I've gone, they really believe that selling snow to Eskimos is a good thing to do. There's a market, there's a need, maybe they need snow in the summer, I don't know. You need to have a good BS detector so that you can look at those ideas in context to the competitive set and understand whether what you're providing is actually satisfying the need and unique. And oh, by the way, this last piece, I've sat in sessions here, Tom Flood knows this, where my big question always after I listen to somebody present an entrepreneurial idea is, somewhere in this whole presentation, I didn't hear how is it that you're going to make money? Right? Have any of you sat in rooms where people have come up with these really, really great ideas? My wife does that every once in a while. And she says, I got this really great idea. I say, Chris, yeah, you're going to make money at that. And she says, well, that's the part that I have not figured out yet. That's the part that you must figure out. Must figure out. So, I'm going to give you, by the way, you're all going to get a pencil, and on that pencil, I had printed need, solution, USP, and Tootsie Roll. That's the whole philosophy. You're each going to walk out of here today with a pencil, and I want you to tuck it behind your ear, and I want you to remember need, solution, unique selling proposition, how we make money. 98.5% of new startups do what? What? Say it out loud. Why?
They don't have a unique selling proposition.
Possibly. What else? They don't make money. What else?
They don't have experience.
They probably don't have experience. What else?
They don't know the need.
They what? Go ahead. They may have by the way, there's a lot of great businesses that have been funded that failed that had glowing business plans.
They can't provide the need.
Yep, go ahead. They don't understand the need. They don't understand the need correctly, and they haven't applied the solution effectively to that need. I'm going to give you a couple examples. My career. I owe my career to St. Francis College. I owe it to St. Francis College. I was a political science major. Talk about a guy who didn't have understanding of a need. I wanted to go to law school, did not get into law school. There was a gentleman here who literally gave me my career. His name was John Mathis, He had a buddy of his who I went to, actually, my mother, this is the real story, my mother was at a beauty parlor. She was sitting next to a woman, my mother constantly talking, and she said, hey, my son's graduating from St. Francis College, and he's looking for a job. She said, that's funny. My husband runs a recruitment firm on Love Lane in Lower Manhattan. His name is McDonald. I said, okay. I want you to go send Al down there to see him. So I went down, I saw him, and he's like this one-room office and everything else, and I'm this guy coming out of school, just about to come out of school, and he said, so what do you want to do? I said, I don't know, this advertising thing, maybe I can make a career in that. He goes, well, I got a buddy of mine, his name is John Mathis. He works for Metro Media Television, Channel 5, for a guy by the name of John Kluge. And he says, I'm going to have you, John has been talking about finding a guy that comes right out of school and training him on selling billboard advertising. How many know anything about billboard advertising? Anybody seen billboards? Okay, all right. So I go to see John. John happens to be an alumni of St. Francis College. I sit and I say, John, I'm coming out with a political science major. I don't have a job. I can work my ass off. I've been working since I'm 13 years old in the deli. I didn't wear my apron then. He said, you know what, Al, I'm going to try to convince the company to hire somebody to train them from the ground up. John hired me for $12,000 a year in 1978 and put me in Maspeth, Queens, and I did some of the most unbelievable work for a company called Foster and Kleiser, which was a billboard company as part of Metro Media. But I could spend the next 5 hours kind of talking to you about stories and lessons that I learned about building a business. And imagine trying to sell billboard advertising to people that were in New York City that really didn't know back in 1978 what the heck billboards were. You got a lot of doors slammed in your face. It's a really challenging environment. So, but that was the foundation of this whole career that I've done. I went on. Anybody read Parade magazine? You know Parade? They get stuck in the New York Times, not the New York Times, the Daily News, Sunday Supplement. Anyone look at Parade? Okay. So I took a job selling advertising for Parade magazine. Parade magazine, at the time, an ad page inside Parade was $265,000 a page. So you didn't get added onto a schedule like that. You had to be innovative, you had to be creative, you had to figure out how to break through. All of the foundation principles that it takes to be an entrepreneur, to be somebody who builds something. And by the way, the one thing I keep saying is, you know those doors that get slammed in your face? It's not a lot of fun to get a door slammed in your face, you think? What does that do to your self-confidence? You're this really passionate, hardworking guy, and you go, nah, get out of here, we're not interested. Nah, we're not going to return your phone call. What could that do to you? What? Hurt your confidence, right? Maybe I made the wrong decision here. Maybe this is not what I want to do. So I wound up setting records for Parade magazine, and then I moved on to kind of the business that kind of started my whole entrepreneurial thinking. Small company called Children's Television Workshop, Sesame Street. Anybody remember Sesame Street? So I got to meet and work with Jim Henson, the Muppet guy, and Nina Link, and all the people at Children's Television Workshop that were creating the magic around Sesame Street. And they brought me in and said, we need somebody to build a magazine division that will accept advertising from major companies and put it together as magazines for all of these kids. We reach millions of kids and families. So I built an entire magazine division for CTW and sold the first advertising that was ever sold before there were parents' magazines and all those other magazines. I had to bring in a whole staff. I had to bring in editorial people. I understood the need. What was the need? The need was that companies like Kellogg's and Procter & Gamble and all types of companies that were selling products targeted to moms with kids needed a way to communicate their message. My solution? I created parents' guides that were attached to the kids' magazines that were for the parent to explain to the child the themes of those magazines, of those issues. That business went off. The signature moment in my career was later, about 4 years after doing that, My buddy of mine worked for Ziff Davis Publishing. Anybody know Ziff Davis Publishing or heard of Ziff Davis Publishing? Kind of sad, but Ziff Davis. Bill Ziff was a mentor, was a icon in the publishing industry. He had boating, yachting, sailing, all these special interest magazines. He contracted cancer and had to sell all of those. Lo and behold, God was good to him, and he recovered. And he kept, in the early to mid 80s, these fledgling computer titles. A buddy of mine said to me, hey, you know what? Bill Ziff wants to see you. I went, really? He goes, yeah. He's got this small magazine called PC Magazine. He said, and he's looking for an East Coast ad director. I said, I don't know anything about PCs. I mean, this is like 85. What do I know about PCs? He said, no, just go and see him. I said, I went to see him. I walked into his office. He throws this magazine with Bill Gates on the front cover. And he says, hey, listen, I got this magazine, PC Magazine, and I needed a guy who can sell advertising inside of this magazine. He said, go home tonight, read this magazine cover to cover, and come back tomorrow and tell me what you think. I went home that night. I'm going through it. It's 340 meg drives and VGA and CPUs and motherboards and daughter boards. And I'm going, I can't even understand. What are you talking about? So I went back to him and said, Bill, you don't have anything about like sports, do you? I don't even understand what's being said here. He said to me, do you own a computer? I said, no, I don't own a computer. He said, all you really need to understand, Al, is this is a magazine. This is a magazine that serves the needs of people who are buying PC products. We provide them editorial content. We provide them the solution to their need. Great. We just need to explain to advertisers who are trying to reach those people that this is the place that they should advertise. You don't need to know anything about technology. Come on board. I joined Ziff Davis Publishing, wound up building PC Magazine for 4 years, and then Bill Ziff gave me a small magazine called Computer Shopper. Computer Shopper, we used to call it Thudware. This is one issue for 1 month. Okay? Bill said to me, when I took it over, it was about that thick. He said to me, I'm going to give you a promotion. I'm going to promote you to the publisher of this magazine. You're going to make 2 trips. First thing you're going to do, you're going to go to Austin, Texas, and you're going to meet this guy that runs a company called PCs Limited. His name is Michael Dell. I think that he could be one of the guys that is going to be a dominant force in the industry. He said, then you're going to get on a plane, you're going to go to Sioux City, South Dakota. You're going to see a guy by the name of Ted Waite. Ted Waite and his brother and his uncle have this company called Gateway. You're going to meet these guys because these are your customers. Computer Shopper became the most profitable business that Ziff Davis ever owned. In 1995, it did $150 million top-line revenue, $72 million EBITDA profit. I was a publisher there for 9 years. I was around some of the most unbelievable entrepreneurs and builders of companies. I had a front row seat. I was engaged with them day in, day out. We understood the need of the customer. Understood the need of the customer. What did the customer need? Pre-internet, by the way. Pre-internet. The customer needed to say, I need to go to a place when I'm buying a computer where I can look at everybody who's selling anything. Because that's the only way I'm going to make a good decision, to have it all done in context. And I need to have it all in one place. People used to say, well, that's really cluttered. No, it's not. It's where they go to shop. This business was an unbelievable business until that magical day when the internet came along, right? We saw the internet coming and we said, this business, by the way, there's no longer a Computer Shopper print magazine. The internet came along and people said, we said, what are we going to do now? The need has changed. The customer no longer wants to go to print. They want to go to this new venue, all these different websites. We said, we better get out in front of that and we better build something that is that print magazine online. So we did. when people were throwing stones at us going, no, this thing is making all kinds of money now. Don't do anything to screw this up. The CEO of Ziff Davis at the time said to me, Al, I'm giving you 6 months. You want to build this internet shopping thing? 6 months. The moment that it impacts on the profitability of this business, we're shutting the internet down. Never happened. Within 6 months, we built Computer Shopper NetBuyer, which became ComputerShopper.com, which in its first year did $6 million in revenue. Its second year did $20 million in revenue. And its third year did $50 million in revenue. And Computer Shopper, understanding the need, building a solution, creating something that's unique, making money. Same thing, right? So you may want to pass this around just to take a look at what this is. This is one issue. And then, so what I'll do is then, after 13 years at Ziff Davis, watching the whole interactive business, I've built a series of different interactive companies. One of them, those of you who get email, anybody get email? Anyone get email? Okay. So JP Morgan Chase and Flatiron came to me and said, hey, listen, we got this business that's not doing all that well. We need someone to come in and transform it, to rebuild it. What happened? Well, we really don't think we understand the need of the customer. Our solution's not all that compelling. We're not all that damn unique. We need to be reformatted. So I took a business that basically was totally misguided and built it into something called Bigfoot Interactive, which became the world's largest email communications companies. People like Target and Walmart and Chase and Capital One sent all of their email through our platforms. That business was sold about 5 years ago for $130 million to Alliance Data. That it's now part of a much bigger organization. I can keep going. I've done in the last couple of years, built businesses that have been digital agencies and sold those digital agencies. Right now I'm in the middle of Optimus Interactive. Why do I pick Optimus? Anybody know, what does the word Optimus mean to you? What? Transformers. Bingo. Optimus is all about transformers. Why do you call a company Optimus Interactive? Why? Yep. It can. What needs to be transformed today? What's happening to needs of customers? They're changing. Why are they changing? What? New products, new technology platforms. Anybody on social media? Okay. Anybody do things on their mobile device? Who's got a tablet? 10 years ago? Not. Today. Success in the market today is going to comes down to understanding from a marketing standpoint that the need of the consumer has changed. The platforms have changed. The solution must correct. If we don't change the solution, what happens? What? Come on, let's go. Fail. Have companies failed? Give me an example. What? Okay. What? Bookstore. Wow. You mean Barnes & Noble, Walden Books, Borders, those businesses are closing? Why? Why? What? E-books, Amazon, Kindle. What happened? Consumer need changed. Solutions changed. Legacy stayed the same. What happens? Failure. Failure. The BS detector. Right? I remember going to see people at Walden Books and Barnes & Noble back then who were arrogant. The internet's going away. E-books? No one's ever gonna. I had a PE guy say to me, no one will ever read anything on a tablet. No one. This is all some kind of passing thing. The publishing industry, where I came from, where I came from, today, magazines going out of business. Gourmet magazines, 65 years in print, out of business. Why? People stopped cooking? Why? What? Find it online. Customer need changed. Platform, solution, changed. They stayed the same. Failure. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to build things? You want to build things? Who wants to build something? The rest of you are okay with just being part of what? You're either going to build a company or build your career. You walk into a future employer and they have a need. They put a job posting up. If you don't represent yourself as why you are not just a nice guy with a great personality, it's funny, are the solution to that problem, you're going to be one of the 2,000 that didn't get picked. And why you are, what makes you unique. Being funny, I'm not trying to pick on you, but being funny and good looking and happy-go-lucky and coming out with a degree, come on. That is not unique. What is it about what you are building in your life and in your career? The Nutric folks, you have a company, right? You're doing awards. What makes you unique? What makes your product unique? Yep. Okay, it's in a school. But why does that benefit me as a customer? What makes it unique and compelling to the customers? That's good. It's run by students. I'm happy about that. Go ahead. What is the benefit that it's in a school and run by students to me as a customer? That doesn't make you unique. It makes you unique, but does it make you, is it a selling proposition? Why is it a selling proposition? Who is the customer that you're servicing? You're servicing other schools? Okay. Why is it, what is it about your products that is so unique versus the competition? Who do you compete with? Other companies. Okay. How is your product stacked up with those other companies? No. Everybody that works for this company, you work for my company, I don't care if you're the receptionist or the CTO, you understand what the USP of my company is. If you don't understand what the USP of my company is, you cannot be a part of my company. So today, when you go back to school, you figure out what the USP of your company is, what separates you. I was saying before, I buy a lot of stuff through Crown Awards. I want to buy from you. Why should I buy from you? I have a need. I buy trophies, awards, plaques. I do all kinds of stuff. I can buy from anybody I want to. Why should I buy from you? You got to figure that out. You got to be compelling if you're going to build something. So if you don't, then you'll just kind of, the low-hanging fruit is there, right? So I'm going to read this off of here. What it takes to build things. And I've built a lot of things, and I'm saying to Tom and Dennis, as I'm building one thing, I'm also building something else. I'm building today in Westport, Connecticut, those of you who ever want to visit, the retail world for me has always been something I've always kind of, back in the days when I was wearing an apron, so it always fascinated me. I don't think small business does a really good job in terms of building strong businesses in the new world. So I'm building a sweet shop. I am. A sweet shop. And my unique selling proposition is, you can walk into Saugatuck Sweets and get bulk candy, and you can get hard ice cream, and you can get soft serve ice cream, and you get soft serve yogurt, and you can get desserts, and you can get coffee and cappuccino, all within 900 square feet. Pretty damn unique. Why? My competitive set in my trading area is a bunch of pink berries and frog this and everything, all one-dimensional. I'm going to be multi-dimensional. We're not even open yet, and I've got 500 people on my email database. We're not even open yet, and I'm getting calls on my cell phone as to when are we going to be open. Need, solution, what makes you unique. If you want to be successful, if you want to build a business, and this is my opinion, and my opinion is worth today. I wrote down a bunch of things. You need tremendous energy. If you're not going to be passionate about something, seriously, if you're kind of walking through life and not going to be passionate about what you're going to do, whether you're going to, if you want to build something, you better be passionate. You better be the most evangelical person that you know. You have to have tremendous clarity and focus. That's the BS detector. You have to be able to say to yourself, I'm lying to myself. I've got wishful thinking. This is not going to work. You have to be able to shoot holes in your argument and listen to those. You have to have amazing determination. I have had more people tell me, this is crazy, this is nuts, you're crazy. If you take their word, if you start looking for other people to reflect your own determination, you're going to lose. You have to have an unbelievable work ethic. If you don't want to get up early in the morning and work until late at night, you're not going to get it. Great sacrifice, unbridled passion, presentation skills, the ability to stand in front of someone and make your case compelling. Silence the doubts. I love that one. Silence the doubts. There's that little voice in you saying, nah, I'm going to settle. This is the way it should be. Nah, maybe I don't want to work that hard. Maybe I want balance in my life. Maybe there's nothing wrong with all of that. But if you want to build something, you want to build something incredibly strong, you got to shut those down. You got to say, not going to happen. Vision. If you're a leader of a company and you want to build something, someone says to you, what do you want to do in your life? You've got to have a roadmap. You've got to be on a path. Maybe you don't have it all figured out. I still don't have it all figured out. But you have to have a vision in terms of where you want to go, what you want to be, what your goals are, what your dreams are, because that's what guides you on the path. It really isn't about being lucky. People say, oh, this guy is lucky, that guy is lucky. It's hard work. Underline, work. If it was easy, everybody would do it. This world, this media world that we're living in today, WhatsApp gets sold for $19 billion. Mark Zuckerberg, all these billions of dollars being thrown around. It gives you a false sense for what's happening in the marketplace. Down in the trenches, in the real trenches, away from all that glitter, are companies and people who are working incredibly hard to build great businesses, to build their lives, that understand need, solution, unique selling proposition. It takes hard work. It takes determination. The reward is incredible. I talk about the phrase, Winston Churchill talks about daring mighty things. If we as young people and we as people are not going to be daring people, then we will be vanilla. And who wants to be vanilla? In a world that has so much incredible opportunity today for all of you to reach your dreams and goals and aspirations, there's such incredible opportunity, but you got to step up to it. It's not going to be handed to you. It's going to take work. And the good news, and I say this to my kids all the time, and they're all in the business now, is if everyone that you were competing on was equally as intense and equally as passionate, it would be really difficult to break through. The fact of the matter is that most people are not. Most people are not willing to work this hard and be this passionate and be this evangelical to get something done. It's easier if you are to separate yourself, to be unique. I can tell you that as I've been interviewing people over my entire career, the number of people who have sent a follow-up letter after an interview is a fraction of the people that I've ever seen. Fraction. That one simple thing, sending a response or a letter back or some kind of an email back that says, I really do want this job. I want to reinforce why I'm the right person. It's the little thing. It's a hard thing. I want to switch because we're going to run out of time here, and I don't want to miss this part of it. Luca talked about the fact that I am also president of an organization that I founded almost 12 years ago called Al's Angels. I want to tell you a little bit about why that was founded. It was by accident, totally by accident. I was a New York Giant fan. Anybody a Giant fan here? Okay. 20 years ago, I was invited. A buddy of mine said to me, hey, listen, I've got these extra tickets for this event. All the New York Giants are going to be at this event with their wives. Phil Simms, Lawrence Taylor, Leonard Marshall, all these guys. And I know you like autographs, so I want you to come. I said, what's it about? He goes, I don't know. We just bought these tickets. It's a dinner. I said, okay, great. So I go. It's up in Hackensack, New Jersey. And all the Giants are there. And I'm going around and I'm getting autographs from Phil Simms and all these people, and we're having a great time. And I have absolutely no clue as to what's going on? I thought it was just like kind of an event. At the end of the night, a woman walks up to the stage and says, "Hi, my name's Sally. My son Todd is 10 years old, and he's dying of cancer. And we have been wiped out financially. And the money that you donate tonight is going to help me provide my Thanksgiving meal for my family." She walks off. Another woman walks on. "Hi, my name is Kathy. My daughter, Priscilla, is 6 years old. She has incurable brain tumor. I had to quit my job. My husband left me, and the money that you provide me tonight is going to help me with my holiday meal and my gifts for my children. I can't provide for them." And a room that was so loud and so noisy and so happy got so quiet. And 3 or 4 other women got up and told the exact same story. And I looked at my buddy and I go, what is this? What did you invite me to? He said, "Oh, I don't know. This is Hackensack Medical Center, and I didn't know anything about this." I said, "This is the United States of America. These people need, their kids are dying of cancer, and the government doesn't have a solution for this? These people have to stand in front of us and beg for their children and for money? What is going on here?" He said, "I don't know. I just invited you to get some autographs from the Giants." So that night, it was pouring rain. I drove home to my house in Westchester, and I kept thinking about the fact that my kids were really young, very young, and they were healthy. And I'm just going to say it the way it is. The Holy Spirit spoke to me that night. And he didn't speak to me, actually. He haunted me that night. And he haunted me with these words: "What if it were you?" And I'm sitting in my car driving home, and those words just kept coming into my brain. And I had to pull over the side of the road because I became inconsolable, crying about it. The thought that it was just could have been some just roll of the dice, that these people and these mothers and these fathers look just like me, just like my wife, just like my friends, but for some reason, the roll of the dice, their kids had cancer and were dying, and they had been wiped out financially, and I wasn't. And I went home that night, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, I'll never forget, woke Chris up and said, "Chris, I got to tell you the story. We got to do something. There's this need, and we got to be the solution." She goes, "Al, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. What are we going to do now?" I said, "Well, not now, but we're going to do something. We got to do something." And the objection was, the need is so damn great. What makes you think we're going to be part of the solution? I said, "Well, we have to be. If we all start to do something, maybe we can eradicate some of the need." So we started doing parties. Back then, Trivial Pursuit, believe it or not, was a real big party game, parlor game. We had people come over and say, "Instead of bringing booze and appetizers, just bring cash." We started to donate money to Hackensack Medical Center to help kids with cancer, rare blood disease, and severe financial hardship. I convinced Ziff Davis to allow me to run programs, so that I walked into Michael Dell and walked into Ted Waite and all these people and said, "Listen, there's this great need. You guys have got all this money. I need you to help." And they went, "Great." And we raised millions of dollars for Hackensack Medical Center, millions of dollars. And about 12 years ago, after leaving Ziff Davis and everything else, I said, "You know what? I'm going to become my own 501c3. I'm going to build a business. I'm going to use all that skill that God has given me, all that passion that God has given me to build commercial businesses. I'm going to build a business that tries to satisfy the need of parents and children that have cancer and rare blood disease and severe financial hardship. I'm going to try to be the solution." I stood in front of all kinds of crowds. I stood in front of my friends, and I went, "The problem's too big. We're just people." I said, "Yeah, but if we all bond together, maybe we can get the job done." We started in our garage then, 40 families. We went to BJ's Wholesale Club, got the food, went to families, and gave the people that were in desperate need food. We bought toys at Toys R Us, and we went to people that had nothing. We're not talking about some faraway land, folks. We're talking within the tri-state area where people have been wiped out. We gave them their holidays. And I kept being haunted by, what if it were you? What if it were you? What if one of your kids, one of your brothers or sisters, somebody that you knew that went through this? Just keep moving us forward. Today, Al's Angels has close to 4,000 member donors. A lot of them are St. Francis people. Tom Flood is an angel. Dennis McDermott is an angel. There are a lot of, Joe Hemway is an angel. There are a lot of angels that are in St. Francis College that are part of this organization. Over 4,000 members. We raise $400,000 to $500,000 a year. How do we do it? We work incredibly hard. We don't have people handing us checks for $50,000. They're $500 or $250 or $100 or $50. We don't play golf. I don't play tennis. This is what we do. We're passionate about solving the problem for these families. Last year, we provided holiday meals for Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah to over 3,200 families in the tri-state area. We provided over 6,000 children with their holiday gifts. 6,000 children gifts. What started in a garage with a vision to providing a solution to a specific need has become a huge organization. Last summer, Joe Hemway and I took a truck from Brooklyn and drove over 2,000 miles out to Moore, Oklahoma. What happened in Moore, Oklahoma? Tornado. 1 mile across, 7 miles long, totally wiped out a community. We went out there with 2,000 teddy bears and a check for $10,000. When you walk out and see the face of people in desperate need and you provide them hope, why did we pick the name angels? If you look it up on dictionary.com, in the third or fourth definition, it says, angels are spirits, or people, or bodies who perform acts as if sent by God. God said to us, love one another. Not just love the people you know, love one another. The people of Moore, Oklahoma were in pain. We said we have a responsibility to do what we can. We have done that. We built another organization. We provided people with hope. You know what they said to us when we got there? They said, we are so blessed that you didn't forget us, that people don't forget us. These are members of the human family. We are, in all the things that we have done, in business, in building businesses, in being entrepreneurial, in making money, in satisfying needs, we must have a responsibility to our fellow man and woman and child. That's where I live. That's where I live. That's where Tom Flood lives, that Dennis McDermott lives. We have an obligation. If it's not us, who will it be? If you're waiting for a government or an organization, or surely there are programs to help, the need is still there. The solution is something that we all have the power to do. And that's what we're about. I can tell you that all of this hard work we talked about in terms of building a life and building a business, the rewards are incredible. The rewards for all of this hard work can be tremendous, financially and in other ways. You get to be around some incredibly good people. The reward of giving back to those who are in desperate need, I'm living and breathing testimony to the fact that that reward is amazing. God wants us to do this. And every once in a while, he sends us a signal, our organization a signal, that we're doing the right thing. What you put in the world, you get back. What you give to the world It is in giving, the prayer of St. Francis, the prayer of St. Francis. It is in giving that we receive. I am a living, breathing testimonial to that. I have seen it. I have seen miracles happen. Tom, have you seen miracles happen? You can have all the scientists in the world. There are things that science will never, ever, ever be able to validate because they are miracles. And doing the right thing, building the right company, being a good person and doing all that and giving back to those in need comes back to you manyfold. Manyfold. So, I think we're going to wrap up here and probably take some questions or whatever. But I'm incredibly appreciative and thankful to the family of St. Francis College. I'm incredibly blessed to be in their company. Mary and Dennis Anderson and Dennis McDermott and Tom Flood and the entire family here. I can tell you that I went away from St. Francis College for a long time. Went away. I built my life. And it was Dennis McDermott that brought me back into the fold of St. Francis College. And he did it because of the human being that he is. Because of the human being he is. Because we were here and we were using one of the upper gyms for an event. And we pulled up with a truck outside. We're unloading stuff. And Dennis came out and said, well, wait a second, what is this all about? And you can't ever forget Dennis McDermott. You know, his height and his stature and his spirit kind of transcend everything else. And he came in and he brought, the brothers came down and people started to help us do what we were going to do. And then it was this real great reminder, oh yeah, that's what the spirit of St. Francis is all about. It's not just a brick and mortar building, it's the human beings, it's the spirit. It is the spirit of St. Francis that lives in this building. And it lives inside these people. And it lives inside of you. Let it live inside of you and let it take action. It will power you to build a great life on the commercial side and the business side, as well as provide you the opportunity to give back what you can to those in need. Thank you very much.
What was your biggest challenge in life?
What was my biggest challenge in life? I would say it was getting the courage to go ask Louis De Palma for the job. You know, I think that really. I was not really somebody who was. I was kind of a shy kid, so kind of mustering up the whole courage to go out there and ask for that first opportunity. I think that probably was the big thing. After that, it all kind of came along. Yeah.
Do you find that there's a difference between finding the need of your product and creating a need for it?
I never created a need. I never spent time creating a need. I always understood where the need was and then created the solution. Creating a need is, then you have to convince people they actually need something. That's a much tougher road to hoe. I'm more, let's go out and find out, opportunities where there is a need and find a solution.
Money or
No, I tell you, if you're waiting to make money, don't wait. If you're waiting to make money to give back, don't. It happens in parallel. It happens in parallel.
That's not what you did?
I kind of missed over a bunch of steps, but I was always involved in giving back. When I was making $12,000 a year, there was always some part of my life that was giving back, whatever way you can. That can be tutoring people, spending time with people. I mean, I've got, Dennis or Tom will tell you, that any of the people that have been around when we do the meal assembly, we've got young kids that are 10, 12, 6 or 8-year-old kids that are putting things into bins for us. Whatever you can do to help, be active in giving back in some way. If you don't have the financial resources to do it, fine. Volunteer, but make it part of something. It's not like once every year you do. Make it part of the DNA of what you do. You're going to be around a lot of great people, and networking through those people as well is a good way to meet people that are like-minded. Yep.
What's your unique selling proposition?
What's my unique selling proposition? I'm hardworking. I have a track record of having built successful companies. I understand how to manage and grow organizations, both from a human capital standpoint and from a financial standpoint, and I'm incredibly passionate about what I believe in.
One question here.
Yeah.
Do you think you're finished with your goals?
Do I think I'm finished with my goals? Not until they put me in the ground. No, the moment you start to think that you've arrived is the moment you start dying. I'm still, as I said, I'm building a retail store now. I've got a couple of my buddies say, hey, Al, you can't go into anything without saying, hey, we could do this better. Here's a way we could get this done better, that better. I have that as part of my DNA. So no, I enjoy the building. When it kind of gets to be pretty stable is when I got to start looking for something else to build. Yep.
Did your degree in political science in any way help you with your career in general?
Oh yeah, I mean I think that the degree in political science actually was the foundation for the framework for the way I think about things. How to look at something and dissect it, and look at arguments and counter arguments, and understand structures of things. So yeah, I think that whether the actual coursework, I use the actual coursework, I probably don't use the actual coursework, but I look at political problems now. I look at government, I look at parties. I've done a lot of writing about how political parties are marketing and what the flaws in their marketing and all of that stuff. So yeah, I think that the education here did a tremendous job in terms of providing me a foundation for my life in terms of giving back and giving back to the community, but also set the foundation in terms of the analytical way in which I look at things, right? So the courses inside of St. Francis College, the philosophy courses, the political science courses, the literature courses, there was so much of a focus on looking at something and looking at it from a lot of different angles, and that is such an incredible part of entrepreneurship and building something, the ability to look at something from other dimensions and then kind of look at all angles to it. So that's where I use it.
Okay. Well,
The success of a business is neither timing or money. The success of a business is understanding the need and creating a compelling and engaging solution. The money will come, right? Market timing and understanding what the need is at that time, in that moment, and how long that need will be there is incredibly important, no doubt. But anybody who's got any kind of a business, if you understand the need at that moment in time and can show that that need will continue and that this is the solution that you've built to service that need, then the money will come. There's so much money, by the way. Here's the good news. The good news is there's a huge amount of venture capital and private equity money that's sitting on the sidelines. They're just waiting for entrepreneurs who can be compelling in terms of need solution. I went to see someone yesterday who said, oh, these people come in here with these plans that it's ridiculous. They've got these ideas, but they don't tie these two things together and how they're going to make money. We turn them away. One other thing I would say to you before we end up here, everybody should get a pencil, because I've been wearing this thing, you should grab a pencil as a reminder. And I also have a bunch of books that I brought here that are just extra copies. Anybody who wants to grab a book, there's only one book that has anything to do with me or said anything about me. Chapter 1 of this book called Shattering the Status Quo. I was chapter 1. I wonder why. Because that's what I believe in. Status quo. Who wants to be vanilla? You want to be vanilla? Vanilla's not memorable. You're going to remember after you leave here today, you're going to remember a couple things. You're going to remember that jerk that gave you the Tootsie Roll, that stood here for an hour with an apron on, right? You're going to remember that. How many lectures have you been in where you walk out of it going, that was really nice, and you got to shake people up. You want to be unique? You got to wake them up. As a human being, you want to be compelling in terms of the job that you're going to go get in the interview. Be unique. I've done some crazy things in interviews. Crazy. To separate myself from the crowd. Status quo. Everybody's this way. You want to be, we used to do when we were at CTW, we were going against all these big agencies, Madison Avenue agencies. We were trying to sell them on why they should advertise in Sesame Street magazine. We used to deliver 3-foot Big Birds into agencies with the proposal stuck in the beak of Big Bird. You think that they ever got anything like that? You think that they remembered us? Yes. You think they call us back? Yes. They're mighty things. Be creative. Be unique. Be memorable. That's important. So there's only a limited number of these books here. There's this one. There's a great book that I've read, and I bought a lot of copies. What I do is I buy books, and to give out to people. The Law of Divine Compensation, what you put in the world comes back to you. Great book on that. There's a bunch of these, and then other ones that I took off. I Believe in You has got a bunch of quotes in it that are inspirational, whatever it takes. Inspirational quotes. There's only 2 of those. And then I have this book. Those of you who have never read Heaven is for Real, really good book. So come and grab them. Thank you very much. Thanks for the time. Thank you, Mary.